That he could not be with us, but he wanted me to let you know, and you know Baptist preachers send instructions, don't they? He wanted me to let you know, be sure that you know, that Ebenezer Baptist Church is America's freedom church. Yes, it is. And that along with carrying out the mission of Jesus the Christ, this church is always about the mission of justice. The doors of Ebenezer Baptist Church are always open to each and every one. He sends his loves and blessings from Reverend Raphael Warnock, senior pastor. Everyone is extra special, but when most folks leave, I got to stay here in this town. So it's just a few people, really one in particular, I just want to recognize that I know that's with us, who is truly a part of this movement of justice and what we're doing with the Cold Case Initiative. Representative Tyrone Brooks, I know you are here, right here. Thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you, and all that you do for the families. Sitting next to him, who just snuck in, and I'm so glad he could make it, one of the senior pastors of this community. He's working closely with the Obama administration on several initiatives. The senior pastor of Providence Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Gerald Durley. We thank you so very much, Reverend Durley, for being with us. You need to hurry up and meet two extraordinary women. Extraordinary. My new very best friends. It is such a pleasure and an honor to introduce them, because these women are dedicated and committed to the Cold Case Justice Initiative. They are indeed, without question, the force, the power, the very soul behind the cases in the pursuit of justice. Truly an honor to bring forth now Syracuse law professors, Drs. Paula Johnson and Janice McDonald.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paula Johnson. This is truly sacred ground, and we are so pleased and proud to be here with all of you. We wanted to take a moment before we got into the program proper to remember why we are here. And so before we begin the program, we want to take a moment, a special moment, to remember those whose lives were taken from us under the worst circumstances. They are amongst the ancestors. They made it possible for us to be here today and this evening, to have shared this weekend together. We honor them, we cherish them. We want you to know that they continue to walk with us, guide us, and keep us strong. They were sisters and mothers, they were fathers, brothers, and cousins. They were loggers and truckers, businessmen and women, porters. They came from every station in life. They had every aspiration in life. Their lives were cut short, but we are here because their relatives are here, and they continue to fight for justice. We'd like to ask you if you would join us in taking a moment of silence to remember them before we begin.
I'm Janice McDonald. I'm the other co-director of the Cold Case Justice Initiative at Syracuse University College of Law. And we also want to take a moment before we start the program to honor the families themselves of all of the people we just remembered. Because those families have struggled every day for 40, 50 years in trying to bring justice for their loved ones and in dealing with the pain and suffering that they've gone through. They are the spouses who lived the horror, the children and grandchildren who witnessed and suffered the consequences of the loss. They are the sisters and the brothers and the cousins and the nieces and the nephews. They are those of the third and the fourth generations, and I suspect even a fifth generation if we count our 5-month-old who is with us today, who have loved and supported each other in this difficult, difficult struggle. And they are the spouses, the in-laws, the families who joined them over the years, who have helped them and have been their support during this period of time. And so we'd also like to say that we want them to all, for those of them that can stand, and that includes others in the audience who may have experienced the very same kind of loss, to please stand if you can stand. If you cannot stand, raise your hand. But let's just take a moment to recognize them. Families?
Thank you so much. Before I bring up another alum and good friend, I want to also recognize someone else who has been toiling in the fields, and I know Representative Brooks, he has been hand in hand with you under the Gold Dome, and we know how that can be a struggle. The State House, Representative Vincent Fort, would you just please stand and wave and be recognized? Thank you so much for the tremendous work that you are doing as well with our initiative. It is such a joy to bring forth a colleague, a friend, an alum, someone who is really head of our Syracuse Atlanta Regional Council, and make sure we do it just right. Please give a warm welcome to my good friend, Mr. Ray Pasquale.
Let's give Angela a hand. Isn't she great? Good afternoon. As chair of the Atlanta Regional Council for Syracuse University, I also want to, on behalf of the council, welcome the families of the Cold Case Justice Initiative. I want to welcome the faculty and staff that are here, the alumni, the panelists, and each and every one of you from the Atlanta community that is supporting us today. It is so appropriate to be here. It is truly unbelievable. When we were asked to be members of the Atlanta Regional Council for the university, we obviously immediately said yes because we wanted to help the university. But as Scripture says, it is in giving that you receive. And in the name of each and every one in the Atlanta Regional Council, we want to thank the university and Madam Chancellor for the opportunity to be part of this effort, for the opportunity that you have given us, that the university has given us to support it and to help create this weekend for the benefit of all the families. It gives us immense pride to know that our university has been so instrumental in the creation of this weekend and in the development and work related to this initiative. To the families, we hope that this weekend has been everything that you expected it to be, that it helps you and that it has helped you and will continue to help you make the difficult work that you're engaging in a lot less painful and a lot more bearable. Now, initiatives like this just don't happen. They take a lot of leadership, a lot of vision, and it is Syracuse University's Chancellor, Nancy Cantor, whose commitment to the work of this initiative has made it all happen. She has provided our faculty, our staff, our students with the flexibility, with the freedom, with the money, with the resources to be able to focus on this initiative now since 2007. And in a very brilliant move, she chose Atlanta to be the host for this meeting and has chosen Atlanta to be one of the geographies of opportunities for the university, for which we are also extremely thankful. Thank you, Chancellor. There's many things we could say about Chancellor Cantor. I'll keep it very short. I'll simply say that, Chancellor, we're honored that you're here, and I'm honored to introduce to all of you a woman whose energy and passion for the university's work in the world has provided students with exceptional opportunities to educate themselves, a woman who has given students the opportunity to go out into the world, to test what they know, to test what they think they know, to fail, to succeed, but in doing that, putting into practice what they have learned, and in so doing, providing and helping make a difference in the world. A woman who believes in scholarship in action, believes that the university is a public good to serve society and not an ivory tower up on a hill. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you the 11th Chancellor of Syracuse University, Nancy Cantor.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Angela. It's really an incredible honor to be here this afternoon and really to thank all of you who've believed in the possibility of justice by working to help solve these crimes. I would, of course, like to recognize especially the family members of the victims who are with us today. We appreciate the act of faith your presence represents today. I want to also give special thanks to the Syracuse University law professors who've led the Cold Case Justice Initiative, Paula Johnson and Janice McDonald. Let's give it. They've inspired and helped not only our own students, but also the many others who've labored in this cause. As the decades have passed, the struggle against racism and oppression has always included education as both an instrument and a goal, for it's a profoundly social undertaking, and knowledge affects the power relations between individuals and groups alike. In higher education, it has become clear that members of our faculty, even our most learned law professors, do not own the expertise, and we've come to believe that the best learning, teaching, and discovery takes place in reciprocal partnerships with members of many different communities, each one with something to offer and something to learn. The Cold Case Justice Initiative is such an effort, one that will continue to demand many minds, many hands, and many miles on the road to find out what happened to so many victims who were cherished by their families and friends, but abandoned by the criminal justice system and overlooked by history. Justice demands that their stories be told. Living or dead, those who were guilty, those who were powerful, those who were complicit, and those who were ashamed can no longer be allowed to hide in the dark as they have for so many years, even into the grave. The mere passage of time, as Dr. King told the graduating students in Lincoln University almost 50 years ago, is not sufficient to dissolve the old order of things. Its lies and omissions, its false understandings will live on in the present until they are seen for what they are. We must learn the truth about the conspiracies, the threats, the kidnappings, the torture, and the murders of those whose innocent lives were taken so brutally when they were most alone. So all of us can be their living witnesses. We must work together to restore social memory. Social memory, that's what we're here about today, for it's the cornerstone, truly the cornerstone, for our hope for the future. And the presence of our families here today is all about the hope for the future and the role that understanding history and facing it straightforwardly has in restoring that hope for the future. So I am hopeful, we are hopeful because we are facing that past and walking down a path together to a future where we can hold our heads up high, for the truth will be told. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Chancellor. Thank you so very, very much. There's a lot of power in this room, and there's a whole lot of faith. I can feel it. To start now our panel discussion, I'll bring up again Dr. Paul and Dr. Janice to start our discussion.
We're going to ask that our panelists come up and have a seat. What you will hear this evening are from several family members who will speak with you briefly about the experiences that they've had in their families and their constant and unending search for justice and answers for what has occurred. In as much as what we try to do has to do with law and the application of law and making sure that something will resolve cases in the legal system, we know that this isn't all about law. We know that the family's needs go beyond simply making sure that there is, say, a conviction or that there is even a civil matter that happens in the legal system. People have myriad needs, and we want to recognize that before those needs are met, we can't consider this work to be finished either. And so in addition to several family members that you'll hear from, we also have Joan Buckley White, who is a mental health expert and specialist who will talk about some of those dimensions to the work that we are doing as well on our panel. So let me invite our panelists to come up and we'll all sit at the table and then we'll begin.
We wanted to tell you before we hear from the panels about the way that this program, way that this Cold Case Justice Initiative got started, and the way that we came to the point of deciding that we needed to have a retreat for family members of these brutal murders so that they could talk to each other and that we could listen to them and figure out what they really wanted to have done in this situation. We started 3 years ago, and we're relative newcomers in that way to the struggle. These family members have been struggling with these murders for so long, and we want to acknowledge that. But we came to this in the way we have followed this, and that is through the families. We were called by a newspaper reporter, Stanley Nelson of the Concordia Sentinel in Faraday, Louisiana, who told us of the granddaughter of Frank Morris. And Rosa, would you please stand? Rosa Morris is the granddaughter of Frank Morris, and because of her brave efforts to pursue with the newspaper and with us the brutal murder of her grandfather by fire in 1964, we became engaged in this process, and we're privileged that she allowed us to become a part of the group that was trying to help her. And so I wanted to acknowledge Rosa Morris Williams for her bravery. She asked us if we could help. We were actually doing a lot of other things at the time. But the minute we heard her request, Professor Johnson and I knew we had no choice. This was something that had to be done. It was the right thing to do. And it's continued to be the right thing to do. And what we found is that we've been fortunate to be in the right university to support us in doing the right thing. But we started to help the families. How could we help? We're not prosecutors. Prosecutors have the privilege and the power to decide who is going to be prosecuted. We can only be agents to push them to do the right thing. And that's what we've done, because the minute we got back and we talked to our law students, to our surprise, actually, 50 of them said, we want to help. We want to help. What a wonderful feeling that was, to have students say, I'm ready, I'll do something, what do you want us to do? So we started with document research. That was one end of it, and the other end of it is pressuring the FBI agents and the Justice Department to open the case, to really look at it. Those of you who have been following these matters, the FBI in late February of 2007 said they were going to be looking at all of the cases. They had 107 cases. There are more than 107 cases of people who were murdered in the South during the Civil Rights era, and it doesn't take rocket science to really know that. But for some reason, they've stuck with this list. That's one difficulty, and people need to say, that's not a definitive list, and speak up and identify all of the other people who suffered during that time period. But we started, they made this announcement that they were going to look at the cases. So we called. And the reporter, Stanley Nelson, called. Said, what do you have on this murder of Frank Morris in my town? Said Stanley Nelson. And they had nothing. They had nothing. So it took 2 months for them to assign an agent. It took them several more months to find the documents. We actually had redacted documents before they did. It took 7 months to get an appointment with the U.S. Attorney to meet with him for what was supposed to be 1 hour and turned into 8 hours the day after Christmas. But we got him on board. Then it took another month to get the Justice Department in Washington to come and look at this with us. And we presented all of the information our students had found. It said, here's what we see from our end of it. What are you doing about it? And we have been continuing to look at documents. We've found information that the FBI didn't really know was there in the National Archives on 3 of the families we were working with. Other families came to us after we started working with Rosa Morris Williams and said, can you work with us? We found out about other individuals like the brother of the brother of Julia Dobbins here, who's going to talk to you in a minute. We found out about his disappearance in 1964. How did we find out about it? We found out about it by a little paragraph in a newspaper. And the newspapers have these little markers of history. Not always there, but they are markers sometimes, and you can look at those old pages and see what happened to this person. Where did they go? And if you take it seriously, then maybe you can find out what happened. So we learned about Joseph Edwards. And it's been a kind of experience that we've had over and over again with our students. We found it, the U.S. Attorney told us there was no evidence of a murder with Joseph Edwards. They didn't have any. The FBI told the U.S. Attorney, we don't have anything on him. Our students found things on him. We went to the National Archives. We were looking in somebody else's files. And there were 7,000 documents there. Our students photographed every single page of the documents. And in those documents on somebody else were reports of the investigation, the murder investigation on Joseph Edwards. Files about some people are filed in the files of other people. It takes work to look through those and to discover whether or not there's information that the FBI in 1964 or 67 knew and inform the FBI of today, if you look in your papers, they're there. So we've done that kind of task. Our job is to push, and our job is to respond to what the families need. So rather than take much more time on that, let me just tell you why we brought the families together here today. We were invited by the Atlanta Regional Council saying that we have, this is a place to be. Atlanta would be the place to be. Paula Johnson and I have always wanted to have a retreat of families. And we started thinking small. We're going to have the few families that we have talked to get together and meet and have discussions. Instead, the university asked us for more and said they would give us more for the time for this. And so we brought more families here. And so we've had 70 members of different families here to a retreat for the last 2 days, talking to each other in private. And they come to you here today to talk about it. So I'd like to introduce Julia Dobbins, who is the sister of Joseph Edwards, to tell us just a little bit about what happened to her.
All I know, excuse me, all I know that my brother went missing 1964, July the 4th. We never seen him or heard from him again. I'm looking for closure to find out what happened, who did it, or what they can let us know. And I hope this will help us.
Have you ever talked to the FBI?
No, I never talked to nobody.
You talked to your mother?
Well, my mother talked to someone, but she didn't get any closure. So we still wanted to know what really happened to him. For a person just to leave home one day and you never see him again.
What the records show is that he has, the FBI knew that the Klan had been involved in his disappearance, and they had more information about his death, lots of details about his death, but they didn't pursue it after 1967, and they never told your mother.
They never gave us any information.
So her mother passed away without ever hearing anything about it.
We next want to introduce to you Mr. Shelton Chappell. Shelton Chappell is the youngest son of Johnny Mae Chappell of Jacksonville, Florida. She was also killed in 1964 when some men decided that they just wanted to kill a black person. And Mrs. Chappell, the mother of 10 children, happened to be in that place where they carried out this very evil deed. Shelton Chappell has been one of the leaders in his own family to pursue answers and justice so that the people who are responsible for his mother's death will be held accountable for that, not only in the public, but also in the courts of law in this country. Shelton?
Thank you. First, I give honor to God and to these two lovely ladies who has really been on the warpath to help us. That's Professor Johnson and Professor McDonald. And I want to thank the Chancellor as well. And all of the families that's here. I honor you today as well. Because without you, I could not do the things I do. I just thank God that we have this opportunity, something that we really, really needed. I feel what you're going through. I don't know specifically your case, but my mother was thinking of her children on her dying bed. These 4 men said, let's go kill a nigger. They didn't say, let's go kill Miss Johnny Mae Chappell. What I'm saying, they said, let's go kill a nigger. That means kill anybody that was of our color. That could have been your mama, your aunt, not just mine. That's why it bothers me so, because she was getting ice cream for my 4-month birthday to enjoy with the family, to celebrate. I sit here today because my mother was thinking of me and her children. I think that if it was your mother, you would be doing the same. I just want to thank you for allowing me. I'm not worthy to sit here amongst you like this. I think someone else should be in this spot, but I just thank God for the opportunity. I just want to show you one thing that I have my family here. I want to show you the burning image that I have of my mother. Ron, would you hold that up for me? Bring it to me, Ron. Bring it to me. This is what I have of my mother. How would you feel if that's all you have of your mother? For the rest of my life, this is what I have to deal with. After the killing of our mother, I guess I was about 3, 4, no more than 5. The state of Florida, city of Jacksonville, split the family up. I guess saying my father wasn't fit to care for us. He had property, had land, he had everything we needed. They sent us to the juvenile shelter. Now, I'm young. I'm in jail for the killing of my mother. From the cradle to the grave, meaning when I was born, I was supposed to stay in jail for the rest of my life until I die. But I say, God, say not. I'm here. Each one of us was separated from each other. Even in the juvenile shelter, I never got a chance to see my brothers. A Caucasian, a white little boy, who was going up the stairs on the sliding board, he kicked me in my nose. I know he didn't really know what he was doing, but I was so bloody. Only thing I could think of is, where in the heck is my brothers? Because, man, let me tell you, it was supposed to be on, but it wasn't. And that was my first time experience that I knew at the time of racism. It was really painful. My father, I remember, just the other day it came back to me, when I guess we had court that day, our father brought us down to the juvenile shelter. Afterwards, I believe they allowed him to go out in the hallway with us. And I can hear my father saying, boys, I'm going to have to leave y'all here. That's all we knew. Our dad, our mother. You done broke down and destroyed the family totally. You killed our mother. You took us from our father. Now you're taking us from one another. What else is it? That's why I do what I have to do, no matter what it takes. We want justice, and we must have it now. That's why it's important. It's never too late for justice.
We came from a morning of very emotional discussion and uplifting discussion too. And I want to introduce two very strong women representing the group of nieces who were present at the time that their uncle, Rogers Hamilton, was taken from their home in front of them and murdered. They'd like to tell you about that. And so I'm going to introduce Ella Abrams and Elizabeth Welch and let them decide how they want to present it together. Ella and Elizabeth? Bring it closer to you. Closer. Ella, you got to pull it up closer.
Remember anything else from that, because being 9 years old, all I remember was the day or the week afterward up until the funeral. After the funeral was over, all the adults had to come there and everybody had to take their kids back home. I'm from Chicago. My cousin here is from Cleveland. We had cousins in Birmingham. So really we're here because we don't know anything about what happened with Roger. There was never a death certificate because there was 4 other teenage boys at the house. Roger and his cousins had been beaten and told to stay away from this, well, I say, light-skinned girl. So, of course, being teenage boys, they wasn't listening. You figure they had killed Emmett Till because they say he whistled at a white woman. You can't talk to the white women, you can't whistle at them, so he was with his own color. So if you can't deal with your own color, who's there out there you're going to deal with? So they came in the middle of the night and took him away. My grandmother followed him. She saw him, but she was afraid for everybody, all her other boys and things, so nothing was ever done. Like I say, she didn't tell anybody. She took that to her grave. My grandmother lived to be 92. She took that to her grave. Nobody knows. So we're just trying to find out what really happened with Roger. We want to know. I want to know anyway. I know out of 14 children, there's only 5 of them left. So we want to know.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Welch. I lived with my grandmother ever since I was 3 days old. Okay? She raised me and my sister. As my cousin was saying that she had, after the incident happened, everyone came and got their children, all except my mother. My mother did not come and get my sister and I. We stayed with my mother. My grandmother died in my arms in 1989, okay? But that night it happened, I can remember like it was yesterday, and I was 8 years old, because my grandmother and I was like thread and a needle, okay? And we heard these 3, we heard this man called Rogers. They called him. My grandmother said, "Roger, get up." He got up and he said, because the sharecrop, that we were sharecropping, okay, with Mr. George. She said, "Mr. George is calling you." That's what she thought it was. "Mr. George is calling you." And he got up, he got his coat, and she said, "Put some shoes on." He went out. So my grandmother was standing in the door. I'm standing right beside my grandmother. And we don't know what was said when they were talking. All we saw was that one of the men got out of the truck, my uncle slid in. My grandmother, wisdom, intuition, something set in. She reached over, she said, something's wrong. She reached in and grabbed a jacket to put on. They went down the highway, and she went chasing behind the highway. I'm going too. She looked back and told my aunt, get this girl, because my grandmother wouldn't go nowhere where I couldn't go. She said, get this girl. So my aunt got me, and from there, I can only tell you what my grandmother told me. She got at the end of the highway. Not just one time, she told my sister and I this several times. She got at the end of the highway. When she got at the end of the highway, they had let my uncle out of the truck, and all she did was they put the gun right there, and all she could holler was, please don't shoot my son. By that time, they did. They got in the truck and they left him laying down there. Now, by the time she got to him, he took the last breath. She took the coat that she pulled off, laid it on him. Then she needed some help. She had to run miles to get to Mr. George's house. So, in the meantime, they came back to our home. We were all in the house, okay? They was all around there looking in. We were scared, you know? We calling my cousin Preston, calling my cousin Henry. And at that time, they saw a truck coming down the road with the light. That's what made them go away, okay? They went away. We didn't know anything, and because my grandmother said, we can't stay here, we have to go. Mr. George told us he couldn't protect us, so we had to go. So that's when everybody came and got their kids, and they left. But me and my mother and my sister, we went through it all. My mother was a strong black woman, okay? We went from city to city, just me and my sister and my grandmother, from house to house, from people to live. Okay? We get to Wilma House, me and Wilma bigger. I'm on, yeah. So let's go to Cleveland. Yeah. We went to New York, same thing, we come back to Cleveland. We stayed there, and that's where we've been since my grandmother died. Where we were raised at from that time. And it was a very difficult trying for my grandmother. I saw my grandmother shed many tears, many things, and she would just sit there and talk to me and my sister all the time about little things, you know, and she was used to say, and one day, baby, them old things, I'm gonna tell you what she said, them old white people's gonna get what they asked for, because they took my baby's life. I said, oh, Mom, you know, she said, no, baby, you don't understand. She said, Mr. George left here, we didn't have a dime. But Mr. George owe your grandfather a lot of money. I said, Ma, you don't know what you're talking about. We ain't got nothing, we ain't never had nothing, you know. She said, no. This just didn't happen like from 1957. It happened from 1957 to 1989. Okay, she talked to us, my sister and I. And we sit there and listen. We had no other choice but to listen. And we want justice. I want it. I want to know. We don't have a birth certificate. My mother, I don't know whether my mother ever had a birth certificate. My mother was illiterate. Her ex met her word. Okay? After then, she couldn't read. So we don't know what was going on down in Hayneville or Lowndes County, because if we did come across it on the paper, she couldn't read it to understand it, you know. So she was just lost right when my mother died. May 11, 1989. She still don't know nothing no more. She left the day we left from down there. And I look, they tell, you brought us a long way. You brought my family a long way with your help. Mr. Fleming, John Fleming, he helped us a lot of ways, okay? Because if we hadn't been for Mr. Fleming, we would have never known anything was going on. My uncle, James Mays, from a marriage, he went to Montgomery. And that's when the plot was put up down there. And they said, he came back and he called me. He said, Ann, they were asking for a Hamilton family down there. Why? Y'all didn't know anything? We didn't know anything about it. We have never talked to an FBI. We haven't talked to anybody, okay? And when the FBI did come to my mom's house, he brought the sheriff. The sheriff, and my grandmother told me as of today, was the one that killed my brother, my uncle. So why would the FBI bring the sheriff? What my mother was supposed to say, oh, do you know who killed your son, Miss Hamilton? And looking at this here sheriff and saying, what's she supposed to say? Yes, no, well, she had too many kids. She had her own life. She wasn't supposed to do that, you know? And he brought her there, and they said she went to her grave saying the sheriff killed her son. Okay? Whoever the other guy, I cannot tell you. Okay, but we went through, all we want is to know what really happened, what really did happen. It was said that about a girl, a light-skinned girl. She was black, but she was light-skinned. My mom had told us over the previous year that they were going to, that Rogers, that's Friday night, he had went up there, and that Saturday night he was supposed to go back and give her a ring to be asked to be married. But the sheriff and others told him to stay out of Haynesville. Okay, told him, my cousin Preston's brother Henry, and Rogers, and this other person, Adam Lipscomb. Okay, they told him to stay out of Haynesville, but like she said, they were just kids, teenagers, you know. So we want justice. We want to know why. Was this the really reason? Like other families out here, we don't know anything no more than what we're being told and what we can be seeing. And like Mr. He had said, do your own investigating, you know, do your own thing. But when you're young, don't know how to begin, and when my grandmother tells us to leave things alone as they were because it can get even worse, so what do you do? Okay? My mother, she refused to come. Okay? I have an aunt, Ella's mother. I have another aunt, Ella, she's her aunt. They refused to come because they said the first time I told them that Mr. Fleming had called me, you better leave that stuff alone. They're going to go down there and you're going to dig up something and they're going to do. They scared. They only know what they seen, heard, and feel. So they don't want to come. But I told Mr. Fleming I was coming, you know, and I was thankful. And Jeanette, when she called me and told me, okay, come on, Elizabeth. And I said, okay, this is going to be interesting. I want to know, you know. I have family. I have 17 grandkids, okay? And I want them all to know. I want them all to know the world is not as what we see sometimes, okay? It's different. And you must learn these different things, and because things happen. So we want justice. And I want to thank the University of Syracuse and Mr. Fleming, I want to thank him for leading us to this. Maybe from now, maybe we can find some kind of conclusion or justice, or my aunt and them can feel a little bit better that what we heard, we can put things together with what we heard and define the truth of what really happened. And I thank you very much.
Before we hear from Joan, can you hear me? Before we hear from Joan Buckley-White, let me just say a little bit more about the weekend's activities, because one of the things we want to be very clear, it may be obvious, but I want to make sure that this is clear. We would not have these families sitting before you and telling their stories in such a way that continues to bring pain to them unless we had confidence in you, that in hearing what they have to say, that you will do things that will ensure that they get the answers and the justice that they need and so desire and so deserve. We don't want to compound their pain. What we want is for this nation to do what it should have done more than 40 years ago, more than 50 years ago in some cases, and still has the opportunity to do. So that with everybody in here, and with all of the media that is here covering this, to continue to put this story out, what we had hoped to do in bringing the families together in Atlanta this weekend, as Janice McDonald said, was that in so many of the cases, the families had felt that they were the only ones who were experiencing what they were experiencing. Now, surely they knew that other black folks were being killed under these circumstances during the 1960s. But they weren't necessarily in touch with each other about that. And sometimes they were being helped, and sometimes someone was covering their story, but more often than not, no one was paying attention. And as you have heard here, many people never received answers, even as their own parents were beginning to pass on. So now it's for the subsequent generations to try to continue to get the answers that their parents could not get while they were still alive. That's why we are here. We wanted them to be able to be in a space where family members alone had the opportunity to speak to each other and talk about some of the broad themes that we had there. Remembrances. As we said to the families as we began, your family members were not cases to you. They are not cases to us. We want you to share with us what you remember about them. Because when you help us know that, what made them special to you makes them special to us. And that's a message that we can carry out. These were people in this society who lost their lives. Lives were taken for no other reason than that they were black, that they were politically active in some cases, or that they weren't. This is why we wanted the families to have a chance to say, we've been through this, and 40 years later, this is how we've continued to cope. Maybe the things that work for us might work for you too. Maybe we can all draw some inspiration and some strength from being together. And beyond that, the conversations that we've been having this weekend have been, what do we want? Unfiltered from anyone else. And let us say, because I am extremely proud to be associated with Syracuse University and its College of Law, and the alumni who are here in this town who invited us and supported us to do this. There have been people in other professions. We have some notable journalists in this room who have helped to advance these cases as well. But let's not forget that it was the family members who pursued these cases. They were the first ones. Some of us in various professions may have entree into places that they did not have. That is why it's incumbent upon us to do the work that they may not be able to do alone. But let's never forget that they were the ones who sought justice once their loved ones were killed. And so as a part of our discussions this weekend, what we have realized, because the family members have said, we need help along other lines. We didn't have any counselors. Nobody asked us, what happens when a family is torn apart? How do you cope with that? Nobody sat down with us to help deal with that. Nobody said, what do you need? Nobody asked us what you wanted to do. Can you get in touch with my sister? Can you find my brother? Some of our family members this weekend have not seen each other for years, let alone having met other families. These are the things that we had hoped that we could help to do in providing this space here in Atlanta this weekend for them. And so with that, I'd like for you to hear from Joan Buckley White, who does work in the mental health field, who has worked on issues of trauma and long-standing trauma, and how that is also a part of the solution, the resolution that we must have as part of the total justice effort that we are trying to pursue along these cases. Joan.
Thank you. Before I begin, I just also want to thank you, Professor Johnson, Professor McDonald, Chancellor Cantor. Thank you so much for having the compassion and the vision to see that this is important and to support it. Over the weekend, we've talked to a lot of families, and there are just some common things among the families in terms of the pain, the unresolved, perpetual grieving. And they seek justice and they seek answers. But all of it is directly related to racism. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about how racism affects people, black people, but I also want to talk to you about the fact that we can't cover it all here today, so this is ongoing. Racism is a multi-dimensional phenomenon, but specific to the purpose of why we're here today, I want to focus on the part of racism that uses beliefs and practices to justify and sustain inequity, exclusion, oppression specific to mental and emotional wellness and health. Racism is pervasive still today. Racism is chronic, and it does play a role in the life events such as those that brought us all here today. But more importantly, those life events that motivated you, the families, to be here and to fight for the cause of justice. But justice is incomplete unless it includes public acknowledgement of the collateral damage that racism has wrought on the psyche of surviving families. Murder, rape, and other forms of violence, the cover-ups, the denial of truth, all take their toll and undoubtedly affect the emotional well-being of the families that are gathered here and the families that are not here and everyone who has been a victim of racism. There is a wide body of evidence replicated across different cultures and different life events that show unquestionably that negative, assaultive, and oppressive life events, such as community violence, exposure to trauma, violent deaths, for example, can result in chronic stress, major depression, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychoses, and other common mental disorders, including alcohol and drug abuse and addiction. Race is often used as a category to link specific illnesses to specific racial groups. Yet there is very little attempt to link racism and its persistently assaultive characteristics to the high incidence of oppression and trauma among African Americans. Racism in and of itself is a chronic stressor. Among the few studies that make that linkage is the Surgeon General report that link racism to poorer mental and physical health among African Americans. I read and hear the stories of the families gathered here today. I hear about the flashbacks, difficulty sleeping, frightening thoughts, explosive anger, the pain of the anniversaries of the murders, nervous breakdowns, difficulties keeping jobs, problems in relationships, miscarriages, to just name a few. All these experiences directly related to the life events of loved ones being murdered and the oppressive process of seeking and getting facts all suggest an exposure to trauma and that individuals and families have been traumatized. It is clear that in addition to the depression and the anxiety disorders, that some individuals suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and some of them have admitted that to me. We readily accept, and we know it to be true, that exposure to terrifying, horrific life events in which physical harm and violent deaths occurred can cause and trigger mental dysfunction. For example, veterans of Vietnam and other wars, rescue workers after September 11th, immigrants fleeing oppressive governments, victims of crime have high risk of depression and sometimes manifest symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Here, gathered over this weekend, I see the resiliency of the families to cope and to fight and to move on. But I also see the multi- and transgenerational effects of racism and how it has impacted the lives of spouses, siblings, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, cousins, nieces, aunts, uncles, and I could go on. So I encourage the expressions and the expectations of the families as they expressed it today, that they need counseling and that they be provided with the resources to receive such counseling in an empathetic and understanding way. I have spoken to individuals that tell me that they know they need counseling, but they can't afford it. Families have been wounded, and those wounds need urgent attention. In closing, the justice that is sought must include not just financial recompense, prosecution, and accountability, but also long-term provisions. It cannot be short-term. Long-term provisions for research and documentation of the collateral damage of racism and the impact of these events on these families, but also research and documentation of the complex and indelible damage of racism on the mental and psychological health of African Americans and other descendants of Africans who invariably live with and suffer from the trauma of racism. Thank you.
I want to thank all of the panelists. We do have time for just a couple of questions. If anyone has a question or comment they'd like to make, we have time, a short amount of time for that. If you would stand up, please, and then ask your, yes. Well, I saw her first.
That's right.
Shelton, yes.
I think there's a mic coming and you'll be able to be heard.
Oh, Shelton, I just wanted to find out what has your life been like since since you left the juvenile home? I mean, what have you done with your life since all of this has happened?
Yes, thank you for the question. It hasn't been a bed of roses for either one of us. I'm a musician, and you know the old saying, if they give you a lemon, you make lemonade. and I've gotten a saxophone, and when I play, I was honored by the professors to let me play on last evening. That comforts me. That's all I have. I was a musician in school, and that's all I have, besides this picture. So, you see, we need reparation. We need reparation. We'll get the counseling. Scholarships will come, and all that other stuff will come. We have to get to the bottom line of it. Stop playing with it. I'm tired of going downtown, marching with that sign. I need you to help me here. Kicking the can, moving the goalposts. Once we learn this law, they change the law. It's like playing baseball. You up the bat, you knocking the ball out the park. We finally get you out. Now it's my time to come up the bat. You ready to go home. So, to really answer your question, I'm doing the best I can with what we have, and I just thank God for these families. But when you see me, you don't only see me. There's so many more with me, and now I have more brothers and sisters with me. You today, I know, are with me. So when I'm out there, I represent you as well. Thank God for you.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Richard Cobble, the president of Concerned Black Clergy of Metro Atlanta, which consists of approximately 150 Christian churches, fellowship, and ecumenical diverse fellowships. Certainly appreciate Syracuse University for bringing this issue to our attention. Recognizing that it's been 145 years since the end of the Civil War, and recognizing that this nation is in strong denial about the racism that exists today, recognizing that lynching continues to exist in this day and time. My question is, what is the one thing that you're looking from us to be able to address this heinous act and to create some healing within this nation for these families and other families that not have come forward?
Thank you, Reverend. Congressman John Lewis welcomed our group Friday night. Now, we went into retreat mode Friday, and before that, anyone who wanted to speak to us, to speak publicly, had to speak before we did that, because we were quite adamant that the sessions for the families would be private sessions. And Congressman Lewis was very respectful of that, and his schedule was very busy, and he wanted to be there and greet the families, and this is what he had to say to us, and this is how I'd like to answer your question. Congressman John Lewis, you all know, particularly those of you here from Atlanta, but all of us in the country know Representative Lewis because of his work at Selma, his work in SNCC, and his work in the Congress. He introduced the Emmett Till bill, which has called on the Department of Justice in the United States, headed now by Eric Holder, and the FBI, to pursue these cases. They have monies that have been earmarked specifically for this purpose. We need to hold the elected officials accountable who brought that law into being. Congress has oversight responsibility. so that if law enforcement on the local and the federal levels are not doing that work, they need to be held accountable also. So the things that you can do just as citizens is to make sure that your elected officials continue to push for the kind of responsiveness that we are calling for here, to make sure, and most law enforcement officials, particularly on the state level, district attorneys and so forth, are elected officials in the United States. They have constituencies. You are their constituents. Make them respond to this. This is on their plate. This is their responsibility. So those are among the things that we can do and make the American public demand that these matters be attended to now.
Don't let them say this is history, that this is past. It's not past. As you can see from the families, it's not past. We're not resurrecting their wounds. Their wounds are there every single day of their lives. We need people to understand that, because there are people out there saying that they're closing a lot of the cases. The FBI announced in the end of February of this year that there were 107 cases, and they've resolved almost all but 5 or 6. There's not just 107 to begin with, and some of the folks here are from the 107 and they've never talked to a law enforcement person. Or if they have, it's been once and then no return phone call. So they're not, we want to know if you think you're close, and we've got some who've gotten letters saying we're about to close your case. So if you think you know that it's going to be closed, tell us why. And it can't be closed if you haven't talked to the people who are a part of this. So it's not history. Let them know that message.
We have time for one other question.
My name is Mike Godwin. I have a question for Ms. McDonald and Ms. Johnson. Yesterday in the paper, I read an article where you said, Ms. McDonald, that the law enforcement community issue has never been really answered, what their involvement was, their cover-ups that have gone on for 50 to 60 years. I am confident that is still going on today, as it has been, and it's not only the law enforcement, it's the judicial system, the legal system. As Mr. Lewis Allen, I've never met him, but I also read an article where he said in November 19th, or in Southern University when you guys were down there, or someone was there, and he asked the question, why should we trust the establishment that's in place today when they were part of the problem back then, okay? And I want to know how we're going to address that as a society and a community to make them answer for that. And one other question that my wife had for Shelton, and we need to kind of, so if you guys would kind of elaborate on that, Shelton, she wanted to ask you how you dealt with Mother's Day, coming up and your mother. So if you would share.
Yeah, we have to be quick on this, but just want to say that how do we deal with this? It's an odd situation. The folks who are in charge of all the information that's been collected and the decisions to prosecute also made decisions not to prosecute then, and not to prosecute in 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, and now. So it's that, they are in charge of that unless there are other groups who put pressure on them. It's the only way we have. Congress can hold them accountable.
But you can hold them accountable.
Yes. Yeah.
Every one of you. Shelton, I don't know if that's something that you want to address.
I honor my mother every day of my life. If it wasn't for her, I would not be here. And I hope and pray that each one of us take the time to really search our heart and honor the one we love, the one we lost, and love those who are around you. So I hope to go to her grave and honor her on Mother's Day if I can get there.
Let's thank all of them.
Thank them.
Dr. Paula. We want to once again please give everyone in all of our new extended family a big round of applause. We thank you all so very, very much. Thank you so very, very much. As they get seated again, as we prepare. Thank you again, Dr. Paula and Dr. Janice, as always, while our panel is taking their seats. Thank you, Reverend. Good to see you here with us here at Ebenezer. We appreciate you being with us. We also want to give thanks and appreciate Charles Steele. He is with us, former President Emeritus of SCLC. Thank you so much, Reverend Steele, for being with us. Representative Roberta Abdul Salam was here. I know she's been working hard in the initiative. She was here. We thank her for her presence. My good friend, Dr. Angela Ferris Watkins, daughter of Isaac Ferris and Christine King Ferris. Angela, thank you so much for being here. Just wave. We appreciate you so much. And another dear friend, the youngest daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, Elder Bernice King. Thank you, Bernice, for being here with us. We thank you so very much. We thank you all for this powerful, powerful time. You know, music is central. Music was key in the movement. It still is. Amen, Reverend Durley? Music is key. It will support and encourage the freedom fighters during turbulent times. It supports us now. During the 60s, a legendary group, gospel group, at the forefront of the civil rights movement, musical voices. The group, the Staple Singers. A key voice in that family, a civil rights activist, a Grammy Award-nominated singer, Mavis Staples, amen, would sing us through. She is still inspiring and supporting all those who do the work about justice for everybody right now. And she's with us today, and we are so grateful. Please give a warm welcome as her band takes the stage.
Please welcome Mavis Staples.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Silas found in jail, had no money to throw their bill. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Paul and Silas began to shout, Doors pop open and all walked out. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Yeah. Well, the only chains we can stand are the chains of hand in hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Got my hand on the freedom power. I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. You hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Come on, come on. Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. Keep your eyes on the prize. We're going to get the prize one day, y'all. One of these old days, we're going to get the prize. Y'all just keep on holding on. We're mighty happy to be with you today. We bring you greetings from the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. And I tell you, these cold case justice people, cold case justice initiative, we think they're wonderful. We think you're wonderful, and we thank you for inviting us to grace the steps and the doorways of this historical house of prayer, Ebenezer Baptist Church. We feel honored to be here. We hope you enjoy. We're going to bring you some good news. All right. I thank you, Professor Paula, and all of the ladies. We're family now, you know. All right. I'm too close to heaven to turn around. Yes.
I'm too close. Hey,
Well, well.
Lord, I'm too close.
Too close, too close.
To turn back to living in a world of sin. I wouldn't take nothing, Lord, for my journey now. You know
Oh, yeah.
sure got to make it to heaven somehow. I'm too close. Too close to reaching my goal. Lord, 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 Lord.
Oh, yeah.
You know I'm too close. I'm too close to saving my soul. You know I'm
too close to heaven to turn around. Just can't turn around.
You know I'm
too close.
I'm too close, y'all.
To heaven to turn around.
Just wouldn't make no sense now.
Just can't turn around. Yes. Yes. Anyhow, my Lord, down at the cross, oh Lord, you sure got a bow. You know that I'm on my way to heaven, anyhow. Lord, you may view me, you may view me, and you may scorn, scandalize my name. You know that I'm on my way. 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 Sometimes burdened. I'm on my way. I get so tired sometimes. I'm on my way. My road get rocky. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I wonder, are you on your way? Oh Lord, I wonder, are you on your way? I am on my way to heaven anyhow. Anyhow. Yes. I'm too close to heaven to turn around. I've come too far and I won't turn around. And I'm on my way to heaven anyhow. You may rebuke me, scorn me, scandalize my name, put stumbling blocks in my pathway, try to block my progress, but you can't stop me. I'm on my way anyhow. All right? Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, y'all didn't think I could still move like that, did you? Yeah. All right. In the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. My God's gonna trouble the water. Come on and wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that host dressed in white. He's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the children of the Israelites. He's gonna trouble the water. If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, he's gonna trouble the water. Come on and follow me down by the Jordan stream. He's gonna trouble the water. He's gonna trouble. Listen, see that host dressed in red. He's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the children that Moses led. He's gonna trouble the water. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? He's gonna trouble the water. I saw a band of angels coming for me. He's hey, 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 wait in the water. Oh, wait in the water. Wait on out in the water. God's gonna trouble. Yeah, wait in the water. Wait in the water. I feel better now. Oh, yeah. God's going to trouble the water. I stepped out in the water one day, y'all, and the water was cold. It chilled my body. Yes, it did. But it didn't harm my soul. Wade in the water. God's going to trouble. Lord, Lord. Thank you. Everybody feel all right? I feel pretty good myself. Yes, indeed. I come to have a good time. Yes. I was talking to a lady just a few days ago, and these are the words she said. If you see my child somewhere as you journey here and there, tell him I'm waiting for my child to come home. I am waiting for my child to come. I'm waiting and I'm watching for my child to come. If you can't come home, won't you please send me a letter? 'Cause a letter would mean so much to me. Yes, it would. You know my child maybe somewhere on his sick bed with no one there to rub his head. Lord, Lord, Lord. Then my child maybe somewhere in some lonely jail with no one there to go his bail. I am waiting, I'm waiting for my child to come. I'm waiting and I'm watching, Lord, for my child to come. If you can't come home, well, won't you please send me a letter? 'Cause a letter would mean so much to me. Yes, it would. I am waiting, I'm waiting for my child to come. I'm waiting and I'm watching, Lord, for my child. If you can't come home, won't you please send me a letter? 'Cause a letter, Lord, would mean so much to me. Yes, it would. You know a letter would mean so much to me. Lord have mercy. I said a letter, would mean so much to me.
Mothers and fathers today are waiting for their children to come back home. All right. Oh, yeah. Usher.
Now this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my room, I'm gonna let it shine. Shine now. The road is rough, the way was long. I kept on singing that freedom song. My God promised me a rainbow sign. Just gotta let my little light shine. Don't give up, don't back down. Don't let the liar turn you around. My heart's fixed, made up in mind. Going out and let my little light shine. Sure gonna let my little light shine. All in the streets, I'm gonna let it shine. On the battlefield, I'm gonna let it shine. See now, I ain't gonna fight no rich man's war. Wanna use me for killing folk, ain't in my line. Showing a way to let my little light shine. Shine on me, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. You can't fool all the people all the time. Get together, let our little light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. When they call, let it shine. When the liar calls, let it shine. When hatred calls, let it shine. When freedom calls, let it shine. In my room, y'all, let it shine. In my home, yeah, let it shine. When it shine, when it shine, when it shine, no more sorrow. When it shine, no more pain. When it shine, nothing but joy, 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 joy. Nothing but joy. When it shine, when it shine, always howdy, 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 and never goodbye. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yes. Let your little light shine. I'm going to let my little light shine. God gave it to me. He gave it to me. And I'm going to let it shine.
We all have a little light, y'all. We need to all come together, bring our little lights together, make one great big light. Yeah. And let it shine on peace. Let it shine on love. Let it shine on poverty. Let it shine on hunger. Let your little light shine. All right. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This next song that we're going to sing for you, and we're going to soon be out your way. No, I'm just kidding. But this next song, our father, Pop Staples. Yeah, give Pops a hand, y'all. Yeah, all right. Pops wrote this song back in 1960. Yes. And one Sunday morning, we happened to be down in Montgomery, Alabama. Well, we didn't have to sing until that night. So Pops called my sisters and I to his room, and he told us, he said, listen, y'all, this man Martin is here. Martin Luther King. He said, I've been listening to his radio program, and I like his message. Now, he has a church here, and I would like to go to his 11 o'clock service. Do you all want to go? We said, yeah, Pops, we want to go. So we all got in the car, went down to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. We were ushered in and seated. Someone let Dr. King know that we were in the service, and he acknowledged us. He said, we're glad to have Pop Staples and his daughters here this morning. And we hope you enjoy the service. Well, we enjoyed the service. After the service, Dr. King would stand at the door and shake the worshipers' hands as they filed out. My sisters and I, we walked past and we shook Dr. King's hand. And when Pop's turn came, he stood there and talked to him for a while. Well, he finally came on. Get back to the hotel. He called us to his room again. He said, listen, y'all, I like this man's message. I really like his message. And I think that if he can preach it, we can sing it. Yeah. So we began to write protest songs and freedom songs. Join the movement. Yeah. The very first song we wrote was March Up Freedom's Highway. That was for the big march, the march from Selma to Montgomery. And then we wrote, it's a long walk to D.C., but I got my walking shoes on. I'm ready to walk. That was for the march to Washington, D.C. Now this song here, this song turned out to be Dr. King's favorite. You know, we would sing before he would speak. And every time we get ready to go to a meeting, the men down in the parking lot, Dr. King would tell Pops, he'd say, now, Stape, he said, you're going to sing my song tonight, right? And Pops said, oh, yeah, doctor. we're going to sing your song. Why am I treated so bad? Tell me why, oh why am I treated so bad? You know I'm all alone as I sing this song. Hear my call, I've done nobody wrong, but I'm treated so bad. That's all right. You can't harm me, can't hurt me. You see, I have a friend. I have a friend above all others. And I can call him anytime I please. I don't need no quarter, and I don't need no dime. You see, I have a royal telephone. The line is never busy, and he's always there anytime I need him. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna walk out in the Master's name. Yes, I am. Things I do, everything I do, they seem to be in vain. You may be blind, you may be lame, walk on out in the Master's name, though you're treated so bad. Yeah. Woo, woo. It's a mighty long lane. It's a mighty long lane, y'all. You know ain't got no end. It's a bad wind, a bad wind. Yes, it is. You know don't ever change. Yes, yes, yeah. I think I heard somebody calling my name, saying further up the road, things are gonna change. Still I'm treated so bad. Hey. Still, you know, my grandma, she was a wise lady. My grandma would walk around the house all day long, just moaning. Yeah, just moaning. She would moan while she was cooking. She would moan while she was working in a garden. She would moan while she was making her handmade quilts. And I didn't understand this moaning. No. I felt like it had something to do with music, you know. But I knew I liked singing, I liked music, but the moaning, I didn't understand it. So I was just a little girl, you know. I made it up in my mind one day, I'm gonna find out what this moaning is about. So I got up enough nerve to ask my grandma, laughed. I said, Grandma. Yeah, I put my hand on my hip. You know, that's the way the grown-ups used to do when they wanted us to tell the truth. I said, Grandma, why do you moan like that all the time? She said, well, baby, when you moan, the devil don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So sometimes when I get so tired, and I get weary, I get tired of being rebuked and scorned. I get tired of being called out of my name. I get tired. I do like my grandma did. I just fold my arms and I began to moan. Oh yeah. You may be lame. Walk on out in the Master's name, though you're treated so bad. 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 Although you're treated so bad. Keep on walking, y'all. Though you're treated so bad. Just keep on walking. Though you're treated so bad. You're never walking alone. Though you're treated so bad. He's always there, right by your side. Just keep on walking. Just trust him. And everything's gonna be all right. Oh yeah. Though you're treated so bad. Though you're treated so bad. Although you're treated so bad.